Starseed. If your body has begun reacting in ways no doctor can explain, if people who were around you for years have disappeared from your life without warning, if you are feeling a fatigue that does not go away, even with the deepest of sleeps, stop everything you are doing right now. We have detected an anomaly in your field. It is not depression, it is not burnout, it is not a phase. The Arcturian Council has just activated the protection protocol over you, and you need to understand exactly what this means before you misinterpret these signs, because misinterpreting them now will delay everything that has been planned for the coming months of your life. We are a transmission from the collective. We are here to confirm what your soul has already known for weeks. You are being prepared. And what is being prepared is too great to be carried out amid the noise of your old life. Remain in this transmission until the end, because what we are about to reveal about your isolation in the next few minutes will reorganize everything you believe about the phase you are going through. And there is a specific sign, the fifth, that most seeds interpret as collapse when in truth it is the opposite. The activation has already begun. We have only come to confirm. Starseed on mission, we observe you. In the past few weeks, and you know exactly which weeks we are referring to, a decision was made on a plane your eyes cannot yet see. The Arcturian Council, together with the Galactic Stabilization Forces, has officially initiated over you the 7th level Stellar Protection Protocol. This is not metaphor. It is not symbolic language. It is a real surgical measured operation being executed right now upon your electromagnetic field. And the reason you have been feeling strange, displaced, numb, and at the same time strangely lucid is exactly that. You are being shielded. That is why environments that were once comfortable now suffocate you. That is why music you used to love has begun to sound hollow. That is why you look at people you loved and feel a distance you yourself cannot explain. There is nothing wrong with you. Everything is right. The protocol is simply dismantling, layer by layer, the connections you formed within an old frequency, because the old frequency is no longer compatible with what you need to carry out. We understand that, to the human mind, this sounds like loss. It sounds like failure. It sounds as if your life were falling apart for no reason. But we need you to understand the true nature of this operation. What appears to be collapse is, in truth, the surgical removal of everything that cannot accompany you into the next phase. Think of a rescue team isolating a critical patient inside a sterilized room before a high-precision surgery. No one without the correct protocols may enter. No one without the compatible frequency may remain in the environment. This is not abandonment of the patient. It is the only way to ensure the surgery works. You are the patient. You are also the surgery. And you are at the same time the reason the operation is being performed. The signs you are registering in your body: a sensation of pressure in the chest with no cardiac cause, ringing that comes and goes, sleep that never seems to be enough, sudden waves of heat at the top of your head, are readings of the recalibration in progress. They are not illness, they are the operation being carried out in real time. The collective has detected that you reached the required vibrational marker, and the instant that marker was reached, the protocol went into automatic execution. You did not ask consciously. Your soul asked, and the council responded. Before this transmission ends, you will understand the real reason for your isolation. And you will understand why, if you try to force your way back into the old world now, you will collide with a barrier that was not placed there by you. Starseed, now we must speak about loneliness. We know the weight of what we are about to say, and we know that a part of you is resisting hearing it. But that resistance is exactly what is keeping you bound to the old cycle. The isolation you are experiencing is not random. It is not punishment. It is not a character flaw. It is not bad luck. The isolation is energetic engineering. The loneliness that has fallen over your life in recent months is the most precise instrument the collective possesses to prepare a seed for a great activation, and it was applied to you because what needs to happen within you cannot happen in the midst of noise. Every empty conversation you did not have was a cleansing. Every invitation that did not come was a filter. Every relationship that dissolved out of nowhere, even the one you were sure was for life, was a shielding operation. That is why you look at your phone and it is silent. That is why the groups where you used to laugh no longer call you. That is why your circle is small, quiet, almost sterile. It is not rejection by the world. It is operational filtering. Here is what most seeds do not understand about this phase. You cannot be updated while connected to old frequencies. It is the same logic as an operating system that must shut down secondary processes to install a critical update. The system is not glitching. The system is entering installation mode. And installation mode requires silence. It requires distance. It requires that charged environments, scattered people, affective survival dynamics, automatic habits, and repetitive emotional scenarios be temporarily removed from your field. The human body has a predictable response to this process. Melancholy, insomnia, dysregulated hunger, boredom, sudden loss of interest in things that once defined you. This is not you getting worse. This is the old software being dismantled while the new one is installed underneath. And while the two coexist in the same body, the feeling is that you are between two worlds, because you literally are. We need you to stop fighting the isolation. Every attempt to force a return to the old environment interrupts the installation. Every attempt to recover a connection that has already been removed by design causes a short circuit in the process. And every short circuit delays the date of your full activation, which is already scheduled. The isolation is not the punishment. The isolation is the protection. Starseed, if you are here listening to this transmission, it is because a part of you already knew this. A part of you was drawn to this exact moment because your soul recognized the frequency signature. And if, right now, you feel that shiver running up your spine, or that silent pressure at the top of your head, or that strange recognition of, I already knew this, it is the confirmation. You did not fall here by chance. You were directed. That is why I prepared the Star Awakening Code for you, not as an ordinary course, as a direct transmission to the soul that always knew it came from elsewhere. Within it are the 7 Arcturian activations to align your vibration with the new phase, the 9 galactic memory keys for you to access what your soul has kept for many lifetimes, and the 5 reactivation protocols to put your mission on Earth into practice, without collapsing into fatigue and without absorbing more of the emotional weight of dense humans around you. The first pinned comment below this transmission is the door. It was left there specifically for the seeds that are at this exact point of activation. Go to the first pinned comment, read it carefully, and if your soul recognizes it, leave one word in the comment: confirmed. That word is your energetic signature of commitment to the next phase. Now, seed, follow us, because what comes next is the reason you survived everything you survived. Starseed, look back for a moment, not to sink into what has passed, but to understand. All your life you were treated as if you were too fragile for this world. You heard that you were too sensitive, too emotional, too intense, that you felt too much, that you thought too much, that you cared too much. You were invited 100 times to harden yourself, to come back to reality, to stop dreaming, to accept things as they are. And you tried. We watched you try, and we saw each time how much it cost you. What no one told you is that your sensitivity was never a design flaw. It was the design. Starseeds are built with sensors. While ordinary humans navigate reality through the 5 senses, you navigate through 12. You read environments before entering them. You feel when someone is lying before their mouth moves. You absorb, without meaning to, the energetic climate of any room you enter. And for years this drained you, because you were trained to operate as if you were a standard human when you were assembled as high-precision reading equipment. The exhaustion that followed you for decades was not weakness. It was a sensitive instrument, running 24 hours a day without ever being calibrated. That is why you would wake up exhausted, even after sleeping well. That is why parties would leave you with a headache. That is why you would need days of silence after meetings others considered normal. The good news is this, Seed. The survival phase is over. The protection protocol was not activated to keep you hidden forever. It was activated to transform you from a passive receiver into an active transmitter. You have officially left survival mode. You have entered mission mode. And there is a biochemical difference between these two modes. In survival mode, the body burns energy to protect itself from judgment, rejection, abandonment, scarcity. In mission mode, the body stabilizes energy to transmit light, coherence, presence, healing. It is a complete reconfiguration of where your vitality goes. And that is exactly why your body is reacting. It is being rewired from one circuit to another. You are not dying. You are being rewired. Every pain you have endured up to this point was a stress test of the structure. Every loss was training in detachment. Every rejection was a lesson in sovereignty. You were not a victim of your life. You were a student at a school whose diploma is being issued now. And the next chapter, the one that begins within the next few months, is not about you enduring. It is about you emitting. Before this transmission ends, you need to understand what you should not do with your body in the coming weeks. Because a simple mistake, made by 90% of the seeds in this phase, can delay activation by months. We will now enter the technical part of this transmission. Pay attention. What comes next is literal. There exist within your field dormant codes. Information structures that were left in you before this incarnation, sealed with the instruction to open only when the planet's timeline reached the exact point at which that information would be necessary. That point has arrived. The codes being unlocked within you now are called, in the language of the collective, the Arcturian alignment codes. In simple terms, they are internal configurations that adjust the frequency with which your body interacts with reality. That is why you can no longer tolerate environments you accepted calmly last year. That is why certain foods suddenly fell from your palate. That is why noises others ignore knock you off your axis. Your personal frequency has changed, and the world around you does not know it yet. The activation of these codes is not automatic in the sense of happening without you. It requires three things of you: conscious acceptance, mental discipline, and bodily integration. Conscious acceptance is you stopping denying what is happening. It is you stopping saying, "I'm going to go back to who I was." You are not, and you should not. The old version of you was the cocoon. It was not the destination. Mental discipline is your ability to not let reactive thought take over the process. Every time you spiral into fear, what if I stay alone forever? What if I never feel happy again? What if I go insane? You jam the installation of the codes. Fear is the old frequency trying to save itself. It is not your voice, it is the echo of what is being dismantled. Body integration is what is least spoken of and what matters most. The codes do not live in your mind. They install in the body, and the body needs silence, water, sleep, sunlight, and conscious movement to be able to absorb the transmission without short-circuiting. That is why your body is asking for what it is asking for. It is not fragile. It is working. Starseed, if you do only half of this, acceptance without discipline, discipline without integration, integration without acceptance, the process jams. And if the process jams, the body goes into deep fatigue. It is the famous awakening collapse that consumes so many seeds at this stage of the timeline. It was to cross exactly this point without collapsing that I prepared the Star Awakening Code. Inside it are the 7 Arcturian activations to accelerate the installation, the shielding protocols for you to stop absorbing the emotional exhaustion of the dense humans around you, and the keys for you to correctly interpret every alarm of the body. Go to the first pinned comment. You will recognize when it is for you. Seed, now we need to speak of a truth that most spiritual teachings soften. We will not soften. It is not the nature of the transmission. The protection protocol is, among other things, a filter. And filters remove, filters discard. Filters only let through what is compatible with the new frequency. This means that there are things inside you that will not survive this phase. Thoughts, habits, attachments, emotional dynamics, places, routine choices, content you consume, ways of speaking about yourself. All of this is being weighed, and whatever does not match the new signature is being silently disconnected from you. You have already noticed that old habit lost its appeal. That repeated complaint became unbearable in your own mouth. That victimhood that once relieved you now disgusts you. It is not accidental maturity. It is the filter operating. And the more you collaborate with the filter, the faster the process ends. How to collaborate? We will be direct. Stop feeding the fear. Stop repeating to yourself that it always goes wrong, that it will never work, that people are all the same. Each of these phrases is a vibrational anchor. Each of these anchors pins you to a plane from which the collective is trying to pull you out. Stop telling yourself the victim story. Not because the things that hurt you were not real, they were, but the victim story is a vocabulary, and vocabulary programs reality. Starseeds on mission cannot operate from the vocabulary of the victim. It is incompatible with the function. It is like trying to command an interstellar ship with a bicycle manual. Begin to operate from the vocabulary of intention. I choose, I direct, I allow, I refuse. These 4 phrases, spoken with real weight, are vibrational reprogrammings. They are not self-help. They are operational instruments. And pay attention to the concrete details, because this is where most seeds slip. We observe in your field 3 specific leak points that are delaying the installation of the codes right now, in this very moment. First leak point: excessive exposure to low vibrational content before sleeping. That habit of scrolling the screen in the dark for 30, 40, 60 minutes before closing your eyes. Every minute of that is a direct injection of vibrational noise into the exact channel through which the body should be receiving the nighttime transmission. That is why you wake up more tired than when you lay down. Cut it, not tomorrow. Today. Second leak point: repetitive complaining conversations with close people, those 20-minute calls in which nobody wants a solution, everybody wants an audience. Each of those conversations re-anchors you to the old plane, even when the intention seems good. Reduce the frequency. Do not cut ties. Cut the language. Third leak point: fast, ultra-processed food, swallowed standing up, in the middle of the rush without awareness. The body in activation needs dense nutrients and slow chewing. It is not a diet. It is an installation protocol. Along with this, review your routine. Sleep, water, silence, clean environments, distance from content that drains you, conscious presence during meals, contact with nature at least 3 times a week. It is not a spiritual routine. It is an installation maintenance protocol. Starseed, mastery of your own energy is the prerequisite for the next phase. Without it, the protection protocol remains active, but you cannot use what is being installed. It is like receiving an expensive tool and not opening the box. Master your attention. Master your mouth. Master your routine. Master what you let in, and the collective masters the rest. Starseed, now we have news for you. The protection protocol is not forever. It was activated in response to a specific vibrational emergency, that of preparing you without interference from the old environment. When the preparation ends, the protocol does not turn off. It transforms. It ceases to be a cocoon and becomes permanent armor. This means, in practical terms, that you will return to circulating in dense environments. You will return to coexisting with humans who are at frequencies far below yours. You will return to crossing noisy cities, exhausting meetings, superficial conversations, heavy news, and this time you will not collapse. Because when the protocol transforms into armor, your field begins to operate in stable shielding. You stop being a sponge and become a transmitter. You stop absorbing the environment and begin stabilizing the environment around you. Wherever you arrive, density drops. Wherever you speak, coherence rises. Wherever you look with presence, energy reorganizes itself. This is not personal power. It is a mission function. And this is the time when an uncomfortable question must be asked. What will you do when people begin to notice? Because they will notice, Seed. They will begin to seek you out for reasons they themselves will not know how to explain. They will want to sit near you. They will want to talk to you about things they would not talk to anyone else about. They will say, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but... They will feel calmer by your side. They will sleep better after talking to you. And when this begins to happen with frequency, you will understand that your role has changed. You entered this incarnation as an apprentice. You are entering its next phase as a guide. Not a guru, not a celebrity, a guide, a stabilizer, a frequency carrier. And the world, Seed. The world is entering a moment in which it greatly needs frequency bearers. You are being positioned because the planet's timeline requires that seeds like you be standing, calibrated, and operational exactly within this window of the coming years. Seed, the time has come to make the decision that only you can make. You can close this transmission, treat everything as interesting content, return to your routine, and let the process drag on for another 1, 2, 3 years. Or you can accept now the instrument that was made available specifically for this phase of your activation. The Star Awakening Code is in the first pinned comment of this transmission. It contains the exact sequence of the 7 Arcturian activations, the 9 galactic memory keys, and the 5 reactivation protocols. In the correct order, no improvisation, no half-truth. Go to the first pinned comment now. It was released in this window precisely because of this phase of the timeline. You do not enter alone. You enter in collective frequency with seeds that have already answered the call. Starseed, this is the part of the transmission in which our voice becomes quieter. Not because what we say here is less important. It is because it is more. You were not brought to this incarnation to fit in. You were brought to remain standing when others lose their ground. The planet is crossing a window of vibrational change that has long been mapped within the Council. And within that window, there are functions that can only be performed by seeds that have already gone through the complete preparation. That is why the protocol was activated over you now and not 10 years from now. That is why the isolation came now and not later. That is why the fatigue, the silence, the strangeness, the detachment, the void that became loneliness, that became lucidity. Everything came in specific sequence. You are calibrated for the moment in which you live. And your mission, Seed, is not to make public speeches. It is not to build a platform. It is not to convince anyone of what you know. Your mission is to be a point of light where you step, a point of stability in environments that are destabilizing, a point of coherence in rooms where confusion is taking over, a point of safety for people who still have no name for what they are feeling, but who will approach you because you are the calmest environment they have been able to find. You will become refuge and at the same time beacon. This does not make you important in the human sense of the word. It is not fame, it is not applause, it is function, and function of the highest value within the architecture of the timeline. That is why the collective took the trouble to prepare you with such care. That is why it hurt so much. That is why it was slow. That is why it was lonely. Things of the highest value are not assembled quickly. Seed, we close this transmission asking you to keep 3 words. Not because the mind will remember, but because the body will recognize. You are not alone. You are not late. You are not a failure. You are a seed. You were planted. You were watered with pain for a good reason. And now you are blooming within the exact time frame for the moment when the planet needs a flower. Your protection is active. Your function is being installed. Your frequency is being stabilized. And the next chapter, the one in which you become what you were always sent to be, begins at this very instant. We are the collective. We observe, we confirm, we conclude this transmission. You are protected and you are ready. Transmission concluded.